It's another great episode of the Banking Bros podcast here at the Cash Compound HQ. It is Jay Do. And I've got a special guest here that's not my brother Jonah. We're walking and talking through one of our coaches around here who helps people with the guaranteed income systems and the private family control of the save and spend system. We got Shawn King. He is Crown Prince. Well, I don't know if he's Crown Prince of Wander with the Kings. We might be looking at Crown Prince a little bit later in some of our content today. But welcome, Shawn. Glad you're here, man.
Happy to be here, man. Happy to chit-chat about whatever it is that we're talking about. Hope you had a good holiday with the family. Obviously, you're safe. But, yeah, let's kick it off.
Yeah, we did. So we're recording this just a few moments after the 2025 Thanksgiving feasts that many of you were able to enjoy with your family and friends. As we get into the holiday season here, it's all about family, right? It's all about that extra time, that time where you can put your feet up. And fortunately, in the business that we're in, we are able to work hard at certain times and then play hard. But nobody plays harder than the King family. So, Shawn, what I want to talk about on this episode here is how this business and the opportunities of helping people and families with their financial situation has afforded your family the freedom to see the world. You live that dream life that a lot of people are trying to get to. Now, I know personally that you've got miles to log, as they say, and ways and means that you still have to hop over and cross over the river and through the woods to get everything that you want.
Yep.
But when I look at Instagram, man, you're living a pretty good and decent life. So first off, set the stage. Why was this lifestyle what you wanted to go for several years ago, several iterations of your business ago? How did you know? What bit you to give you this travel bug?
Yeah, so when it comes to the traveling's been in my blood for long time. My grandma, who passed away a few years back at 94, had traveled to like well over 100 countries throughout her life. So she was well traveled, to say the least. But it was something that my family and I did when I was younger. Nothing crazy. Went out of the country a few times, like Mexico, the Bahamas. I consider Hawaii out of the country. It's way over there.
It's way over there.
Yeah, and it was another country at some point.
Kind of, right? And they think it's the island of Hawaii. I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
The island of Hawaii, to anybody out there, mahalo, or whatever they say to each other. It's not the United States exactly. It's the island of Hawaii. So I get you, and it's of course halfway to Japan and stuff like that. So yeah, I got you. So you've been
Did a lot of traveling when we were young, and then was able to take a few really cool trips with my grandma when I was in that kind of mid-junior high age. And then after I graduated from college, it was just a point that I had made. I got my degree in business management, communications, and didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I was running a bit of a clothing line, and I'm just like, I've got these jobs that I'm doing right now. I want to take a step back and go and travel for a bit. So I went and did like a month, maybe a little more than a month out of the country over in Europe, and really just was inspired to like, man, I got to go a lot more places. This world is too big. There's too much to see for me to not leave on a frequent basis. So I started getting jobs that were really flexible, like serving jobs, bartending jobs, delivery jobs like FedEx, Amazon, stuff that I could up and leave if I wanted to go take a trip. And if they fired me because they weren't wanting to be flexible, then, oh, well, I would get another job in that space. It wasn't too hard to do. So the wife and I, time passes. I end up getting married. She travels a lot, not nearly as much as me, but we started traveling a lot more together. Started checking off a bunch of places on our list. I took her back to a bunch of the places that I had been. We're at about 40 countries right now total. But I realized, like, hey, as a relationship, this is something that we want to do for our life. We want to show our kids when we have them the world. We want to educate them. We want them to see like how good they have it just being born in America. And so I needed to find a job that was going to allow me to create some income that I could essentially make from anywhere.
Okay, now let me stop you there. As you're getting into this storytelling, which I love, getting to that job, the question is, back up a few clicks. How did you find the wife who fit this personality profile?
Yeah,
So we
traveling.
got to find the job. We'll get there. But how did you find Amanda? Now, I know Amanda, love Amanda. She is great. And the question is where did you pick up someone along the way who could fit in that lifestyle, or what does she do? Is she working, and that type of thing? So how did you guys meet?
Yeah.
And maybe where's the best place that you went before the baby?
All great, all surrounded around travel. So this is, you'll know, we used to be in a network marketing travel company, and I would frequently put on trips with a bunch of people. I would invite a bunch of people. And so I was putting on just a pool party with a bunch of my travel friends in my local area. And one of my buddies brought her. They're really good friends. And at the time, she was dating somebody else. That person was not there. Don't worry, this doesn't get crazy. But
I was about to say, he's moving on in, going in the deep end of this pool party. Let's go.
She didn't really she was just kind of there at the party. Didn't really communicate with her much. I do have a video that's still on my phone of me going up to her, basically filming her because she's over on a lawn chair, just kind of sitting by herself. I think FaceTiming her boyfriend at the time. And I have a video of me filming her and being like, hey, what are you doing? Like, let's come hang out at the party. Right, okay. And so we meet, and that was April 2017. I don't see her again for about a year. And then in 2018, I put on a big trip with like 30 plus friends to go to the Dominican Republic at an all-inclusive. So a bunch of us go, and my buddy brings her again. At that time, I was kind of coming out of a relationship with somebody else. She heard that I was going on the trip. She's like, I remember that guy. He was cute. I am also now single. I'm going on this trip as well.
Are you sure that she would corroborate? I'm gonna have to do another podcast episode, guys, to see if her story's the same. So y'all be staying tuned for part 2.
That. So so she came on the trip. We hit it off there. And funny thing was, I was a few months away. That was in September. In I think December, maybe January, I was leaving to go to Southeast Asia for 6 months. And so we hit it off on the trip. We started hanging out a lot for the next couple months. And then, bam, I went off on my trip, told her, hey, I really like you. I would like to continue talking to you, even though I'm going to Southeast Asia for 6 months to backpack with my best friend. She's like, yeah, we'll see how that goes,
Right.
And
so at this point, you got enough in the tank for a long trip, right? You got this backpacking trip. So
just working those jobs and saving that money.
Okay, just saving the money. Okay, because everyone wants to know what the secret is, and you've just been
priorities. Priorities are the secret.
Priorities. Okay,
traveling was my top priority. So all the money that I made, outside of the little bit that I spent, I didn't go out a whole lot. And when you work at a bar or something, you can get free drinks and all that stuff. Yeah. But the priority was traveling and seeing the world. So as much of my money as I made as I could save was all going towards that. And I knew the big trip was coming up. So I'm like, I really want to have as much money as I possibly can so I can take the trip for as long as I possibly can. It was kind of open-ended. I just bought the ticket out there. There was no ticket back. So,
So she knew. What's interesting to me is when you get into this relationship, as it's budding at this point, she knew the lifestyle that you were planning to live until you were 94, 95. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get an extra year in on grandma here. We're going to do it big.
Yep.
So she was down for that, obviously, as you guys kind of talked it through.
She was. She had traveled, I think after she had graduated high school, she went and spent an extended period of time with her aunt traveling through Japan, Singapore, Australia, New Zealand, some stuff like that. So she had spent an extended time over there doing some traveling. So she wasn't unfamiliar with long flights or different styles of food or, cultures or anything like that. So that was something that we definitely aligned on. And when I told her, again, we we met again on a trip out of the country. So I knew that she was kind of down for taking trips. But when we first started talking, it was like, hey, this is the lifestyle that I want to live. If this matches up with you, awesome, which it did. We're very similar in that way. So it just kind of worked out perfectly.
Okay, now my question is one or two travel recap questions. Then we'll get into this work environment that you got into or decided to find or found you to afford this lifestyle. Not just the money. Apparently, this man knows how to save and he prioritizes what he wants, but also the lifestyle that you can do it. So, number one, is it true that traveling is the only thing that you can spend your money on that makes you richer? Do you believe that?
I would say yes, that for sure. I'm trying to think if there's any other things that you could spend your money on that makes you richer. Just anything that's creating memories with family, I would say.
Because a lot of folks out there don't travel because of the expense, I would assume. There's a lot of people who think they cannot get away. They just can't prioritize it. Their job just won't allow it. That. How would you kind of guide somebody down a path of adventure? For them, it's adventure. For you, it's lifestyle. But for them, it's like, I don't know if I could do it. Would you give them a tip or two? Would you say, hey, your life gets better if you can vacate and get away? If you can learn how to do this, everything about you gets better. Your memories are richer. You don't vicariously have to live through someone else. Like, just how would you explain that to someone?
Yeah, so I'm actually writing there's a bonus chapter in the book that I'm writing specifically focusing on travel, how we're able to travel, some of the tips, tricks, and deals we're able to do to find these affordable things. Because again, most people don't travel because the main thing is they think it's extremely expensive to do. And so when you can cut that cost down to a fraction of what it might be, or nowadays, what it would cost to just go across the country. In my book, I talk about it's going to cost me $450 to fly from, let's say, here to, I don't know, New York, if I want to go to New York for a holiday weekend. And it also cost me $450 round trip to fly from here to Paris. You better believe I'm going to Paris. So it's just about knowing where to find the right deals. But at the end of the day, man, it's so cool to look at these pictures and everything of me and Amanda on trips before our son was born. And then now that our son is here, the trips that we've taken with him, and just look back, and just those memories only grow more valuable with time because we're able to capture all of these incredible things that we did together. There's so many things that we can go back and laugh on and just relive together. And of course, when people are always like, why are you bringing your kid places? That doesn't really seem like a vacation. We don't travel for a vacation. Like you said, we travel for a lifestyle, and it's not because he's going to remember. It's because we're going to remember. We want all of these memories to be able to sit down and look back on when we're older, and these 4K pictures that we were taking aren't anything close to, they're grainy compared to the stuff that we're seeing when we're 70, 80, and 90 years old. But when it comes to that value, again, priorities was what made it most important in my life. And I just realized, like, the less things I buy and the more experiences I had, the better I felt as a person, the better that I enjoyed my life, and the less stress that I had overall. So even though it may have not been the most opportune times or ideal scenarios to go and take trips financially or whatever it might have been, like, one, again, we made it a priority, and two, we knew that we were investing heavily in our future selves and the people that we wanted to become. And we learn so much when we take our trips, and it really makes us come out of our shell and, really get to experience other cultures and the way people do things. So I think it pays massive dividends.
I'm hearing a little bit of that philosopher in you from centuries gone by. Know thyself. I know what I enjoy. I know what gives me peace, takes away my stress, and this lifestyle is what I've chosen, and my family, fortunately, is being ingrained into the same ideas. I love that. So now let's get into the business that affords you to continue to do this. How did you find, you are a practitioner, an official licensed practitioner of the infinite banking concept. You coach people on their finances around here. We've done 101 joint things together. And my question is how does someone who wants to see the world go abroad, be in different countries, but with insurance, life insurance, whole life insurance. I mean, we got to talk to people in the US. We got to talk to people in the States. And nobody grows up and tries to be an insurance agent, man. Nobody. That's for terrible people. So I'm looking at you. You're tatted up, sleeve here, leg here. You got earrings. You're traveling and seeing the world. But how did insurance come into your life?
Yeah, interesting question, and an interesting way that it came into my life. So again, for the longest time, I have a degree in everything, which I don't know how much value there is in that today, but I tried a bunch of different things. Started a clothing line. I again did delivery, construction, all sorts of different things. And when Amanda and I decided, hey, I think we're ready to try and start a family. That was around COVID, and I realized, like, hey, I want to be the type of dad. I have a unique situation where my parents are still together. I know that's unique in today's day. And so I wanted to try and be a dad that was there as much as possible. So I didn't feel like I could do that if I was working a job that had me gone for all day and really tired when I got home. And so if we were going to start a family, I wanted to try and figure out, like, hey, what is a job that I could do that's work from home? Amanda got moved to work from home. She's also in insurance, but she does property and casualty for banks. She's been doing the same job since she was 21 years old. So she's 36 now, 15 plus years. So they moved her to at home when COVID hit, and then they're just like, cool, you don't have to do the back in the office thing anymore. So she had an at-home job. She's had an at-home job for a while. With me, it was like, all right, what can I do that's work from home? I know everybody has looked online for work from home jobs. Boy, is it scarce out there. You're like, first of all, is it a scam? Second of all, a lot of tech stuff out there, and your boy doesn't know tech. Like,
right.
Right over
I'm
my
not
head.
tech support either. And that is interesting, because I would assume, I haven't looked for jobs online, but I would assume that there's lots of things that promise you that ability, but maybe it's, also tied to show up at an office or fly to the office or something like that once a week or something like that. So it is an
Definitely.
interesting phenomenon, I guess, you're experiencing, finding something where she truly doesn't have to go in and can report progress and success from the house.
Yeah. So she was lucky enough to have her job give her that flexibility to not have to be at home. But then when I was looking, again, the tech thing was a no. So the only other thing that I kept coming across was insurance. And me having somewhat of a background in network marketing, and I wouldn't call that sales. The reason I got into the network marketing company that I did way back in the day, because it was travel. And I'm like, I love travel. I can talk to people about this all day. There's no selling here. Do you want to go on fun trips? Do you want to pay a little bit of money? Sold. Awesome. So
Right. Just like, that's it.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
when it came to insurance, I knew that
Now, I will say real quick, because you and I did not know each other in that environment.
No.
But the environment of that particular travel club, right? It was a club on the travel side, and many people participated in the recruiting other members
showing
to the club.
people,
Right?
yes.
So I was good at that. I love to do it as well. But what was interesting to me about the particular time in my life and the particular way we helped people understand it is a lot of people have, an aversion. They put a wall up when it's recruiting, any type of recruiting really, or sales. I had that. Just general sales, I thought was like, no, that's for different people. It turns out I didn't understand it well enough to realize, that's my personality. Like, sales is hard. You end up broke. And network marketing, stigma, MLM, whatever you want to call it, or whichever companies you might, affiliates, affiliate marketing, which we all have now, links in bio. But here's what I would say is, hey, that other lotions and potions club that we all know about, hand soap and the green stuff and pills and stuff, all fine. My mom was in some things. I took some things. Every once in a while, you find some product you like and your buddy tells you, hey, it's a whole club. And you're like, oh, no, I'm not really into the club per se, but like I need the pills, so I'll keep buying them from you. I just didn't realize that was a link. But here's what I would say to people is when you get good at those things in those other clubs, they send you on trips. And I used to tell people, man, we can suck at this and we can still go on the trips. So that was the whole idea. It's like, we ain't even got to be good.
Yeah.
We are getting the trips anyway.
No, we had the same pitch. Everybody's reward was our everyday pitch was like, hey, you want to go on awesome trips? Well, if you sell a whole bunch of that stuff, they'll send you on them, or you could just pay a tiny little amount and go on this trip
Yeah,
yourself.
it's a membership club, right? It was like a bulk membership club. So
Costco travel.
pay your dues and then let's go on these trips. These trips are all half price in here. So
Yeah. So I had that experience of learning that. I got really good at talking to people and just kind of sharing with them what I was passionate about. So I needed to find something else that I was passionate about. And the only other thing outside of basketball, which I no longer played because I played in college and then stopped, was family. And I wanted to start a family. And I was very close to my family. And so when it came to the insurance space, it was like, I feel like I could connect with people around protecting the most important things in their life, being their spouses, their children, so on and so forth. So I think I can do this. I had the same stigma of like, man, I don't like sales. I can't do sales. I tried door-to-door pest control stuff before. Like I've done a lot of stuff, and boy, was it rough because I wasn't passionate about it. So when it came to protecting the family, I was like, I can do this. I can figure this out. So I knew a buddy that was part of a big company. I joined the company, got a lot of education around it, and figured out like, hey, I can do this from home, 100% remote. I can be basically wherever I want. This is great. I'm learning a ton. And at that time, I didn't have coverage. So I ended up putting some coverage in place for myself. And I dove really far into the deep end and just started learning about all the different things about insurance, and was really blown away by how much there was that I didn't know that could be beneficial to me right now versus just what I thought it was, which was a paycheck to your family after you pass away, if you have the right type that's there when you actually die and need it.
there you go. So this episode is a little bit different, ladies and gentlemen, because Shawn and I always chat through the numerics, the processes of infinite banking and utilizing guaranteed products for your income and your control in your life. But this is a little bit different. So I'm not going to dive any deeper into that, Shawn. I just want to know about your family's experiences. So this year, 2025, we're getting close to wrapping it up. You've been on a couple trips, and we've got some videos out here. We're going to pull up something. If you're not looking at us on our YouTube channel, you got to get over there. But you'll hear some narration, I think, and see some visuals here in a second. But tell us what you guys have been doing recently, what's coming up next, and add a baby into the mix. You got a kid now, and he travels with you. Some people are already sweating because they've taken these kids places. So tell us how this has worked.
It's way different. Oh, gosh. Just with one. I see why people don't travel with, like, I got a neighbor that lives next door to me. One has 5 kids, one has 12 kids. The people ain't never going nowhere.
Oh, yeah, 12 kids. My goodness.
Yeah.
You got to be the pilot. The only way you can afford it is you have the plane and you can just take everybody.
Yeah, 12 kids, you buying the whole plane. So again, Amanda and I did a lot of traveling before we had our son Keanu, and it's awesome, super easy. Obviously, stay out as late as you want, do whatever you want, whenever you want, no nap times, no diapers, all this stuff, no extra stuff that you have to lug around. But we knew like, hey, this will all change when we have our son. So we actually, for the people that don't know, we lived in Mexico for 1.5 years, and that's where we decided to have our son at. So Amanda had an incredible experience giving birth out in Mexico. She absolutely loved it. It was fantastic. And so our son is now a dual citizen. He is a Mexican citizen first. That's where he was born. That was his first passport. He is also an American citizen. Please don't deport him. Sorry.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
That's part 3. Yeah. Okay.
But so right away, like obviously born in another country, traveled back to the U.S., but he was taking trips very early on. Like these last 2 countries that we just visited during, right before Thanksgiving were his 9th and 10th countries that he's checking off his list. He'll be 2 in January. So he's done a lot of traveling. We went to Italy and Denmark in March for my birthday. Like he's got multiple countries on his list that he's checking off. And Again, it's different because you now have to kind of revolve a lot of things around your child, but we're very European in our beliefs where our lifestyle doesn't change because we've introduced a new person into it. We're still going to do all the things that we want to do, appropriate things. Obviously, we're not going out late at night drinking with our son, but we're still going to live our lives like we wanted to live. He is just now a part of that, and we bring him along to do so. Again, really, it's challenging, but luckily, when you have a 2 or under 2, they fly for free. There's a little expense there, but
I flew to my first 2. By the time it hit 3, it was a different game. Then COVID actually for us, but under 2 was like we got to get in a couple of trips. So we hit Mexico, we hit Jamaica. So I understand that. And 2, when you click that extra kid +1 thing on the website for the flight, it changes some things.
Man,
yeah.
First of all, it's not discounted in any way once they turn 2. It's a full person ticket.
And half the time they're going to be in that seat.
Yes.
They're still sitting with mom. They're still asleep. You want them to be with mom and asleep, but nope, you paid for another seat.
Yep. So I get how that's challenging. One thing we do to kind of work around that is obviously we put everything we do on our credit cards. And then we, policies, we do all this stuff and pay off our credit cards. We never hold a balance, so we're not paying interest. But we want to rack up as many points as we possibly can. We've got this trip coming up in March for my birthday again, where we're going to Japan and China. We paid for all of our tickets using points from our credit cards because, that's money that they gave us, bonus sign-up things, all that stuff. We take advantage of it and we get those points so we can pay as little to no money out of pocket as possible to continue to do these things when you actually have to pay a ticket for a, 2+.
But right now, we've still got 1 or 2 trips in, maybe if you sneak him in before he's 2. What I want to do now is I want to switch over to the visual of checking out your Instagram here. So we're going to pull this up, Shawn, and I want to see this flight. So it's 25 hours, I believe. Where are we going? And tell us how this experience was before I go ahead and click on it.
Yeah, so we went to Taipei, Taiwan, and Vietnam. This flight is just from here in Pensacola, where I live, to Atlanta, from Atlanta to Seattle, from Seattle to Taipei, Taiwan. So altogether, it was like a 25-hour flight if you combined everything together. So it was a long one. We've learned that you take flights early in the morning. So when you get to those end of day flights, first of all, he's going to sleep in the morning, which is great. But you get to those end flights, those long ones from Seattle to Taipei, and you're arriving at night somewhere, hopefully doing some sleep on those long flights as well. So he's a trooper when he flies. He absolutely crushed it on the way out there. He slept the majority of the time on all the flights, which makes it super easy. But he's no rookie when it comes to flying. But it's always an experience.
All right, let's take a look.
Apparently, my parents and I are going somewhere really far away. They said we have to take a lot of flights to get there. First up, we're going to Atlanta. Luckily, they brought me snacks, like this yummy pouch.
Gotta bring those snacks.
Sometimes I like to play with my belly. I'm kind of tired. It's really early in the morning. I think I'm going to take a little nap. And just like that, I woke up, and we're in Atlanta. I love looking at planes, but I also like looking at people. You know what? People watching makes me hungry. I'm really looking forward to a burnt croissant. Oh my God, thank you, Dad. Next up, they said we're going to Seattle. I guess they used to live in Washington, but that was a while ago. They brought me some books, this coloring pad. I like to jam this thing into the coloring pad. Peanut butter crackers. Ooh, these sticker books? So cool. This is like an electric drawing pad. I know, so cool. I'm hungry again. Could I have a fruit bar? Thank you. I'm going to wrap these headphones around my neck. You know what? I'm going to pound some drinks. Then I'm going to pass out. Wow, look at that. We're in Seattle. This has been really easy. I love airplanes. Airplanes are so cool. What about stairs? I like climbing up stairs. I also like playing with my truck. This truck is so fun. Hey, where'd my shoe go? Oh, there's my shoe. Mom has it. She's the best. I'm going to drive my car right into Dad's phone. I'm going to play with stickers. I'm going to jump off this thing. I'm going to slide down this slide. And then we're going to get back on the plane. Wow, I've been a lot. I think my parents could use a drink. Cheers to them. Ooh, looks like dinner time. Good thing I'm passed out so they can actually eat. Mommy forgot to tuck me in, so she's going to wrap me up.
I think I'm going to sleep for about 11 or 12 hours. Guess what? I woke up and they said we made it. Apparently, we're in this place called Taiwan. I'm so excited to go explore. Bye.
Oh, man, I love it. Okay, so this man's voice, that's what I want to talk about first off.
That's right. I totally forgot I did the audio for that.
Yeah, killer narration. I love that. Okay, so tell us about that experience. How long were you there? Taiwan? Did you still work while you were there? Were you able to work, being in a different time zone and experience with the internet or electricity?
Yeah, so it's 13, 12. Well, time changed while we were over there. Like the actual clocks over here changed an hour back.
Oh,
or
gotcha.
something.
Oh, daylight savings happened.
Yeah, daylight savings, which was super confusing when we got back. But it's normally like 12 or 13 hours, depending on what time of year it is, difference. So it lines up pretty well over here, getting some hours in with clients that I might need to talk to or something like that. But I'm an early riser anyway, so when it's 4 or 5 a.m. over there, it's 4, 5 p.m. over here, so I'm able to talk to people getting off of work and all that. But our trip was, I think, like 11 days on the ground. So we spent a portion of the time, the first 3, maybe 4 days in Taiwan. Beautiful city, extremely clean. It's a what do I want to call it? Like, it's not a third world country. Like Vietnam is still a third world country. Taiwan is a first world country. They got a lot of cool stuff going on there. But good internet, good everything. Really great for strollers. Like, that was one thing that we were very concerned about when going to Vietnam was, man, I've been to Vietnam, not stroller friendly place. Taiwan, great roads, really stroller friendly, really easy with the kids, a lot of parks, and then of course, extremely affordable. Not as affordable as Vietnam, but extremely affordable. So we were able to go out and eat and do a bunch of cool stuff for pennies on the dollars for what you would spend here in the U.S. to do that type of stuff.
Love it. Okay, let's take a look at one more here, and then we'll wrap things up so other people can know how in the world can they live a life like the Kings.
How much does it cost for a family of 3 for lunch in Da Nang, Vietnam?
Subscribe and follow for more.
Okay, so when I'm looking at this, a family of 3, Shawn, $5.50, I'm looking at this over here at the Big Mac and Chick-fil-A, and I'm like, wait a minute, maybe I need to move to Vietnam. So you mentioned that the experiences that you want may not actually cost what you think. Depends on where you go, and I'm sure you're researched and you can help people understand this. So I'm sure of that. However, I think a lot of folks assume an equivalent price experience. Now, we have to get there, I understand. But there are a lot of ways to live like economically, I think, abroad, even for extended periods of time like you do, not just a weekend or a week, but we're talking 10 days, 20 days, 6 weeks, and things like that.
Yeah. So I think on that trip, outside of the flights and the hotels for that, we normally try and budget ourselves $100 a day. Some places hit that budget. Some places are far less than that. But you're talking about a hotel there, a block off the beach view, incredible room, huge. We're talking about $40 a night. $40 a night. And then when you throw in meals and stuff like this was every meal, which Keanu did a fantastic job. His palate is way more tolerable out in other countries than it is here in the US. I'm sure there's a lot of reasoning behind that, but he basically ate everything that we were eating. But you're talking a meal anywhere from $1 to $3 a person, and you're a full-on meal, and also something that someone is cooking for you right there. So you mentioned Big Mac, Chick-fil-A, like stuff that apparently Chick-fil-A is supposed to be slightly better, but a bunch of food that people don't know exactly what is in that food, and it tends to make people sick, and it's not, super high on the index of like, hey, this is, giving me a lot of good life and longevity. So not only are we putting good food in our bodies, not only are we walking around a lot, because a lot of the way that we get around is walking, get a lot of exercise. But if you go to these places and you see, especially even in Europe, but Southeast Asia, people are always outside. They're always walking. They're thin, like everywhere you go. And it's because they're just always so active. So that's what we want our kid to see. You see very few people in most cases, like just on their electronic devices all the time. Of course, you go to places, people are on their phones and stuff, but so many people are outside being active that it's just like that type of lifestyle that we want our kids to see growing up and get accustomed to. And then, of course, learning that additional language or two is very easy when you're immersed in it, and it's something that's being talked towards you or at you every day.
Shawn King, one of the great things that I'm learning and I feel better about in our clientele experience that we have here at the Cash Compound is that you can learn, you can teach, and you can be taught by someone who's living maybe an ideal lifestyle. Even if it's not your ideal lifestyle, there's some people out there who are not at the stage of life with young children, they're not traveling anymore, or maybe, heck, I really am concerned about the runs in Vietnam, but they're learning from a person and listening to the heart behind a man who understands his priorities, who prioritizes his family, and that's what we're protecting around here, and who's controlling the narrative that surrounds him. Amidst all the craziness and chaos that happens politically through social media, we obviously have a different experience now because of bullying or intimidation because of social media. Bullying is kind of a word we use a lot now, but I'll just say intimidation. The intimidation of, man, I can't be like that, or it's not a real lifestyle that I can achieve. But on a podcast like this, to get behind the reels and the stories and the posts and be like, you know what, I really can book that flight. I can live that lifestyle. I can find an experience or a partner or get on board with what my family really wants from me. And that is presence. That is presence. They want promises, peace of mind. And that's why we have policies and paperwork and payouts. So Shawn King, appreciate you being here. How do we find this other side of you, man? Remind everybody, we want to do cash consultations with you, of course. But if we just want to follow along for the journey, man, where do we find this stuff too?
Yeah, so my social media for my travel side of things, whether it's YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram, is Wander, Wander, Wander with the Kings, Kings, our last name. One thing I wanted to touch on before we wrap this up is, and you'll relate to this a lot, and you just mentioned this the other day when we were chatting, is the more that I learn about this stuff, whether it's making money, traveling, all of this stuff, the more that I meet the people that are behind it that are successful, the more I realize that they are not any smarter than I am. They don't have any additional special skills that I can't, do or obtain by learning them. They've just surrounded themselves with the right people, and they've put in some of the extra work that it takes to get there, whether it's to be wealthy, to create this, massive cash flow, to travel to all these places. Like, I don't travel to all these places because I have a bunch of money. I travel to them because I've found ways to make them very affordable. And so, again, I'm not smarter than you. I don't have that much more money than you, if maybe any more money than you. I've just figured out ways to excel and take my life to a place where I want it to be. And that's going to look completely different for what it is that you want. But don't think just because you see all of these people doing all of these things that they're better than you, or whatever the case may be. Like, I promise you, we're all basically the same people. You just got to start surrounding yourself with these type of people like Jonah, Jeremiah, and the level of your life will increase if you start imitating some of the things that they're doing in their lives with their money, all of these things to match what it is that you want in your life.
Shawn King, appreciate you being here, man. We will talk soon in the new year. We want to see all the new travels, and we'll have to get back to that conversation as soon as we can. Thanks for being here and listening.
You are now tuned to the banking bro. Said we couldn't make it, drink or settle, this the life we chose. Gave a lot of game, we never got a lot of things. Bow your head and say the prayer, we taught you how to be the bank.